let's talk about a couple other running backs. They were in top 3 in catches. We spoke about one of them. Leading the league, 116 was CMC, followed by 92. So there's a big gap, but 92 by Austin Ekeler. Huge year. Third at 81, Alvin Kamara. Look, CMC had 1,005 yards receiving. Ekeler was 7 yards shy of 1,000. That's pretty unbelievable. Next closest to those two was James White at 645. To show everyone, all of us, me, you, those dudes at 1,000 receiving, and the next guy is at 645 at their position is maybe the Chargers were right to move on from Melvin Gordon. Receiving touchdowns just from the running backs, Ekeler led with 8. The next closest was 5. Just his numbers are impressive. They just jumped out at me. I wasn't looking around like, all right, let's find Austin Ekeler here in this stat, in that category. He just kept jumping out, and I'm like, good Lord, maybe he's more than a secondary back. Maybe he can run between the tackles. So I ask you guys, I'm going to compare him. Ekeler, he said his goodbye to Melvin Gordon. He went from 500 total yards to 900 to 1,400 total yards last year. That's awesome to see. Alvin Kamara, coming off a year, a knee injury, ankle injury, has Latavius Murray around. But Kamara has been awesome, usually good for 1,500 yards of offense. Enters year 4. Who would you rather have in fantasy this season, Kamara or Ekeler?
Too many questions with Ekeler. I'll stick with my Kamara, especially if I'm choosing him to go 1K on the ground. But he's phenomenal. I'll use the same excuse for Zeke, but he can hide behind a lot of that offense, man. It's a lot of preparation, hiding behind Drew Brees. You still have Latavius to prepare for. You got the best receiver in the game, Michael Thomas. Now they add, Taysom Hill to the mix. Where is he going to be lined up? Everyone's on swivel head, figuring out where he is on the field. And now they have Emmanuel Sanders too. So Ekeler had a great year, but he had a great year, and everything changed. Gordon is gone, but that's a whole different offense now with Tyrod, and or Herbert. I'm pretty sure Tyrod will probably get the start, but that's a whole different offense. And even Anthony Lynn has been on some interviews saying that he really, really, really likes Justin Jackson. Thinks he could be a starter. He even said that he thinks he's a better overall back. And you guys lived in San Diego too. If you guys were watching those Charger games like I was, Justin Jackson's a baller too with the opportunities that he's gotten. I am a big fan of Ekeler. I think he runs a lot stronger and a lot better than what his size shows. He's always falling forward. He's a great pass catcher, but I just think, that was a lot with Phillip Rivers not having those opportunities deep and just checking down to Ekeler. I think Tyrod's going to be playing more within the confines of the offense, and I think they're going to be running a little split black roll. And I don't think he's going to really get that much of a share as far as snaps and looks.
Well,
I agree pretty much on all points. I think I was going to say that, especially with Tyrod, first of all, Phillip Rivers loves to throw to the running backs. Like, he loves more than almost any quarterback in the game. He's always looking that way. So I think it was kind of a good opportunity for Ekeler to get, just to have this crazy year, especially with Melvin Gordon sitting out, as much as he did. He kind of just went off that first month or month and a half of the season. But yeah, I think to expect that same kind of level of production, I think you got to temper your expectations a little bit with, like Drew said, with Tyrod, and then, with Justin Jackson, how they're not going to just run Ekeler into the ground. He's a smaller guy. They want to preserve him. They want to keep him fresh. So I don't think he's just going to, get a bunch of the usage, right from the beginning, I think. And then plus, like Drew said again, like, Kamara's in a better offense. He's proven he can do it year after year, where he's been consistent with his numbers, whereas Ekeler just had that one big year. So I think he's just a riskier bet for me. So yeah, I think I'm going with Kamara as well.
I get it. I agree with you. I'd pick Kamara over Ekeler. But if I'm on the fantasy draft clock I'm probably taking the guy that falls out of the first round, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't have Kamara on that pedestal with those other elite running backs, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm with you. I pick Kamara as the player. But for the value, I know Eckler's going to go higher than we're ever used to, but I don't think his numbers are going to be that drastically different than Kamara's, if I'm being completely honest. Not to be totally down on Kamara. It's actually giving a compliment to him and giving a compliment to another player on the come up. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it, but this is what I think I see. I think the Chargers are going to give Eckler a real chance. That's what I think. I see a running backs coach in Anthony Lynn that's a head coach now. I mean, some guys are old school, work your way up. Despite what your features may be, will give you that shot. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to run him more. I think with Tyrod Taylor, that's more of their identity. So to answer this particular question, look, I'm not on the fence on a lot of things, but on Eckler, I am. I'm on the fence, but I'm looking at the higher side, the more positive side than I am on the downside until I actually see him not produce with the touches he's given. Because we all have this screenshot of Eckler, right? And that's when he's on the field, he produces, he's explosive, and he provides a spark. Yes. So I'm not saying he's going to be different than Phillip Lindsay and break out of a timeshare. I'm also not saying he's going to be Alvin Kamara, capable of a workhorse amount of snaps and touches. But I think he's going to get that chance. Do you guys think he's strictly a timeshare back that shouldn't even be in this conversation with Alvin Kamara?
No, I don't think that's the be-all, end-all. Again, I really like Eckler. I would, he's one of my favorite running backs in the league, even before this past year. I could always remember talking to whoever I'm watching the game with, whether it's out in the bar or at somebody's house. I would always say, man, when Eckler gets those touches, he produces. So I really do praise him. It's just you got to also have to factor in the situation. The only reason why I'm saying that is because there's questions there. I don't really question Kamara's role.
For sure.
The only thing I would say, if it's going to go up or down, Kamara's role is going to go up. So with Eckler's, I don't really know.
He gets like 17, 18 touches already. I don't know if his workload can go up.
All I'm saying is when you see a guy that has talent, you're going to get the ball in his hands. Teams, if not this year, starting next year, they've got to be seeing not ghosts, but they got to be seeing a lot of danger zones with Michael Thomas on that side. Like how are they not how are you not double, triple teaming that guy, shading coverage, whatever you have to do, bump him at the line with a linebacker? It's just ridiculous. He's pretty unstoppable, but you don't really see that much double coverage throwing his side because of the fact that they know that they're going to scheme up some other play or some other check to offset that double coverage or that shade in coverage. So Kamara, who's it going to be? If it's going to be the second most talented player with the ball in their hands, it's got to be Kamara.
That's fair. Durfee?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I think, like Drew said, the role is defined. I think that's a good point to make. You know what you're going to get from Kamara, or Kamara, and you might even get more from what he has. Where with the Chargers, you don't know. You get a new quarterback. You still got a shaky O-line. You don't know how involved Justin Jackson's going to be. So, from what I would think is that they probably split the carries 50-50, and then Eckler also would get like 4 to 5 catches a game. Just off the top of my head, but I just think the potential for Kamara in that offense is going to what sets them apart.
Yeah, I think 100% of people listening, 100% of us here probably agree with that. That's for damn sure.